Go. Hello, students. My name is Professor Yusuf. I hope you have a very good time today. Today's lesson will be the definitions of bookkeeping and accounting. We will also discuss accounting as an information system. Your ability to understand today's lesson will be of great value in subsequent lessons, for which is important to let us have an overview of the lesson. We have objectives of the lesson, meaning of bookkeeping, meaning of accounting, differences between bookkeeping and accounting, accounting as an information system, questions and answers, summary and conclusion. In the case of objectives of the lesson, at the end of the lesson, you should be able to define accounting and bookkeeping, differentiate between bookkeeping and accounting, and discuss accounting as an information system. Meaning of bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is the art of collecting and recording financial data about an organization. What do I mean by that? Bookkeeping serves as the first stage of recording or accounting process that we are talking about. And the person that performs such function might be referred to, in some cases, bookkeeper, in some they call them account clerk. It is the recording part of accounting. It involves quite a number of activities, such as handling the ledger of the organization, purchases journal or sales journal, financial receipt, customer documentation, preparation of trial balance, and other recording documents that might be just as a general ledger and any other document that relates to recording in accounting. Meaning of accounting. Accounting involves many processes such as collection of data, recording data, classifying, processing, preparation of reports, and analysis and interpretation of the reports prepared. What do we mean by that? We are saying that in the case of accounting, which is wider when you compare with bookkeeping, the accountant is the one that performs this function that called accounting, and you see them doing a lot of activities where bookkeeper stops, that we have mentioned collection and recording of data. Accountant will start processing, classifying into different accounting subheading and segments, and at the end of that you see them coming up with either corrections of errors and what have you. Reconciliation will be done, and at the end of the day a trial balance prepared. They use that to lift up and prepare what we call the output, which is financial statement or financial report. And in doing so, they ensure to meet up with the accuracy is prepared with that consciousness that accounting reports will serve different users. And that is done in such a way to meet up to the needs of all the users, both internal and external users. We also need to look at accounting, as I've said, goes beyond just collection of data and record data that a bookkeeper has done. You will see them looking at various things that are involved during classifying and processing. You see them looking at different form of assets. Organization looks at, they classify them. Now we have a current asset, non-current asset. We will look at. But you have quite a number of things to be discussed. You can pick. Let's pick the current assets, where they will classify so many items are there. Under that, you have a sample like debtors, inventory, and so on. You also see accountant looking at income statements of the organization and various things that are involved there. Accountant will be deeply involved in preparation of cash flow statement of organization, and above all, you see them also looking at what we call the budget of the organization that will assist them to be able to keep track records of what the activities and use that as benchmark of the activities of the organization by comparing the output that we have said they will prepare with the budgeted statement they are prepared ahead of the accounting period. We need to look at difference between bookkeeping and accounting. Bookkeeping is an aspect of accounting just as arithmetic is part of mathematics. So the main function of bookkeeping is to collect and record financial data, while accounting goes beyond this to analyze data collected, interpret and make reports useful to various users in order to make informed economic decision. We need to lay more emphasis here. You see that accountants perform functions that tends to be more elaborate and wider or goes beyond that of bookkeeper. The essence of that is to show that whoever that occupies the position of accountant that performs accounting function will have more skill, will require somebody who is knowledgeable, and the knowledge required goes beyond that of the bookkeeper whose function is just to collect data and record such data. We might also need to classify them clearly. The case of bookkeeping, let's look at it as bookkeeping versus accounting. The bookkeeper functions can be summarized as follows. You see them assisting the accountant, and the functions they perform at times overlap that of accounting, and quite a number of their functions it will form part of accounting. Again, the bookkeeping, as the word suggests, is about keeping books and is the first step in the accounting process. Again, a bookkeeper keeps an accurate and complete record of an organization relating to financial activities of a business. They focus on the recording of financial transactions with less focus on the analysis of these transactions, which form bulk of the activities of the accountant or accounting. In the case of accounting, accountants are built on what the bookkeeper or bookkeeping has done. The information provided by the bookkeeper will be used by accountant to perform his own function and carry out more activities, further activities on that. An accountant focuses on the higher aspect of financial picture and performs tasks that affect the whole accounting process, meaning that whereas the bookkeeper stops mere on the function of collection and recording, accountants or accounting goes beyond that to cover all the other functions that we have mentioned earlier. So accountants apply further financial analysis to the financial records kept by bookkeepers. And finally, I can say that accountants classify, analyze, summarize, interpret, and report on this financial information to various users for them to take an informed. We are now going to look at accounting as an information system. Accounting is a means of social and business communication, and it involves a flow of information from collection through recording to report preparation and interpretation, including feedback. Again, what do we mean? When you are using the word accounting as an information system here, we look at accounting as an information in terms of input, process, and output, as well as feedback process. On that note, you see input taking care of data collected and recorded by bookkeepers, and the process where accountants now starts its own function. That's where you now see a lot of activities carrying out, recording, recorded whatever they have recorded will be classified, process in corrections of errors, reconciliations. Quite a number of activities will be done there that will assist them to lead to the output, which refers to preparation of financial statement. There we are talking about the income statement of the organization, financial position of the business, the cash flow, and other things that can go with it. The feedback that form the last line there, you will now see that various users will rely on it and allow that, enable them to take an informed decision, and that can affect the next stage, which is the input that also form back to affect the process. So, like I said, just like any other information system, the accounting information system is incomplete without feedback, meaning that the various users that will come back to provide that feedback constitute a major element that needs to be considered. The information required by them is also to be considered while accountant is providing report prepared. Go. Now, having listened to today's lesson, let us take one or two questions from you people so that we can clarify further. So, on my left, you have.
And here you just finished the code.
You're welcome. On my right, okay, Ayobami, you can take your question.
Sir, I would like to know what is the definition of accounting?
Well, when you say definition, I would like you to look clearly at definition. Accounting is a discipline that concerned with data collection, recording, preparation of reports. But if you are the meaning of accounting, as I said earlier, definition is a discipline that involves data collection, recording, classifying, processing, and preparation of reports that will be used by various users. That report, the accountant, which is about to represent the period, might need at times to analyze or interpret the report that will assist the users that mentioned able to make use of that decision. In that note, I think the meaning of accounting is clear. So, Josephine, you can ask your own question now.
Okay, sir. What is the difference between bookkeeping and accounting? Is there any major distinction between the bookkeeping and accounting?
Bookkeeping is an aspect of accounting. As I said to Ayobam earlier, that accounting is a discipline that covers so many things. Bookkeeping just covers part of the stage, starting from the data collection and recording. So accounting goes beyond where bookkeeping ends by classifying what the bookkeepers must have recorded, analyze it, prepare reports, and analyze such reports that will be used by the various users. So the difference there is that bookkeeping is an aspect of accounting, just as we have arithmetic as an aspect of mathematics. So accounting is wider. Bookkeeping is just a little aspect of accounting. So whoever that performs the function of bookkeeping is referred to the bookkeeper. Or in modern days now, we call it account clerk. They are using clerical concept. For those that perform accounting functions, we refer to an accountant. So the major distinction is that accounting is a discipline. The person that performs that is referred to an accountant. Bookkeeping is a form of clerical. The person that performs that function is a bookkeeper. So with this, I believe we are clear now with the difference of between bookkeeping and accounting. So on that note, we end this lecture. In this lesson, we learned that accounting involves the processes of collection, recording, classifying, preparation of reports, and analysis or interpretation of the prepared report. Again, bookkeeping is concerned with the collection and recording of financial data. In the next lesson, you will learn about the history of accounting. I believe you have gained a lot from today's lesson. Thank you for listening.